Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Forbidden Land podcast. This is a special episode. There was an episode that came out on Tuesday where I yapped for an hour because I cannot stop myself from talking. And today is an even bigger episode. It is the State of the Union for the podcast. Now, I will be chugging a pre-workout energy drink during this because I am quite tired. And no, it is not nighttime. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, this week we are going to, or I guess I should just say today, because we already had an episode this week. This week we are going to talk about the progress we've made for the podcast and what I still want to do for the podcast. I will also be talking about a lost topic that I was not able to talk about during Forbidden FM number 4. Because John wasn't there, and it would have been really weird if I had just brought it up alone. But it's old news. It's been 3 months. I feel like I've teased the people long enough. I will be talking about the Angry Birds jerk-off incident. I will also be awkwardly reading through a 13-year-old article about The Lion King that I did not know was a thing because I do not like Disney Renaissance era movies. So, did not know this was a thing in The Lion King, but somebody wrote a really kind of disturbing, gross article about it. And then I will be giving a fun fact at the end of the episode. To tease it, it's about bananas. So, let me lock my chair and let's lock in. So welcome to the State of the Union. Let me not have the camera facing that far over. There, we're framed up. I'm in the center of the frame for once. Now I'm going to move over here. Now I'm not in the center of the frame. All right. So, let's get into it. So, some of the goals I had was goals that I had started in 2023 that I wanted to carry over. Some of the goals that I had were ones that I hadn't accomplished yet. We're going to talk about what I have done. Then we're going to go over what I haven't done. And then plans for the future. So I have a bullet point list here. One of my goals that I had was that I wanted to do more guest episodes. And I have finally achieved that goal. Sort of. I want to continue doing it. And I feel like I haven't done it enough. But I've done it more than I did last year. Last year I had one guest. And it was John. This year I've had John on 3 times. And I just had my friend Wesley on and my friend Livy on. Go watch those episodes. They just came out. The one with Livy came out last week on Friday, and the one with Wesley came out the week before that on Friday. So that that was one of my goals, and I've partially achieved it. I would like to keep pushing in that direction of having more guests on. Who are some future guests that I've thought about? We've thought about doing a gender swap episode where my girlfriend and Wesley's wife sit down and do an episode together, but as if they were us. So that would be an episode that we would want to do. Another episode I want to do is one with Wesley that I won't give too much detail about, but it would be kind of a more funny joke episode, but it would still be like a full podcast. I'll probably have Livy on again. John, I definitely want to bring on for more election-related political coverage because we love talking about politics. And then, I have other friends that I want to bring on the podcast. It just, it gets kind of hard to find people that want to come on because they're so busy. We're all so busy with our lives that it's really hard to coordinate stuff like that. But I have a couple people in mind. I've thought about maybe my friend. Oh, I'm not going to name yet in case he says no to this. I have a friend that just became part of a small indie film studio. So I might want to do one with him talking about that. And I have a couple people in mind. I won't go too deep into that. So that is one of the goals I've achieved. So guest episodes, definitely knocked those out. Weekly episodes continuing. I have done that. Every Friday there is a new Forbidden Land episode, and with occasional extra episodes sprinkled throughout the middle of the week. I've also done a good few bonus episodes. If I'm not mistaken, I've actually done more in the last couple months than I have ever before. I did episode... what is it? Episode 3, 4, and 5 of the bonus episodes in the last 3 months. So I would say that's an achievement. Yeah, B3, B4, and B5 all have come out within the last 3 months. So I've done a few bonus episodes. If anything, you could say I do a bonus episode a month. I'm not going to stick to that. Already doing this weekly is enough. But, and I hate paywalling them, but, like, you know, sometimes I have to paywall them. So yeah, we've done that. That was definitely an achievement. One thing we didn't do is cut down on how much I say and I still do it. Not as much. I will give myself that. I don't do it as much because I'm able to sort of keep a more stable... Now that I'm talking about it, I want to say it, but... I've been keeping a more stable, like, talking thread throughout episodes. I've become more comfortable with cutting the episode off early if I have nothing to talk about. So that's why there's a few 30 and 40-minute episodes here and there. It's hard to do this by yourself if you don't have stuff prepared as much as you should, you know, and then you end up running out of stuff to talk about. So the and stuff, I've stopped doing it as much, but I still do it a lot. So I just stopped myself from doing it just now. I would like to stop doing that entirely. I don't think that's possible. I think I do it a healthy amount now. I don't think it'll be possible to completely cut that out. So we've sort of fixed that. We have the weekly content, bonus episodes, all of that. Another achievement was I wanted to talk about politics more. And I did do that. I did talk about politics more. I will say that... I just stopped myself from doing another... I will say that I originally had planned to do extra episodes talking about politics until I realized my bread and butter is talking about politics. I'm too consumed by it to talk about anything else. Like, it's just too much a part of my daily life for me not to talk about politics. The only other thing I'm really interested in is, like, weather, PC stuff, gaming stuff vaguely, and, like, random obscure facts that I've now started sprinkling into episodes. So it's, you know, I didn't do the extra episode for politics thing, but I do talk about politics more. If you want, this is going to be such a shameless plug for the Patreon. If you want to find specific episodes that are just about, like, that include a lot of politics, there's a tag on the Patreon for those episodes. It's just called Politics, and it gives you every episode where politics is a heavy part of the episode. So I would say I definitely achieved that. I just kind of blend them in with the normal episodes, which I think is fine. The only problem I have seen with it is that it makes it kind of hard to advertise this podcast to a less politically focused audience, but it's okay. So we did that. Another goal I had was to do live episodes, which I have done. I have done 4 live episodes with a 5th episode coming soon, I would assume. There's definitely a planned episode for the election. So on the day of the general election, I would do a live episode covering it. And yeah, that's been the plan. the entire time. We did the one for the primary in Georgia. The day of the primary in Georgia, we did a joking kind of election test episode because we knew who was going to win the primaries, let's be real. So we just kind of fucked around for a little bit. I ended up figuring out that the bumper music I was using for the little stingers was copyrighted, so I'm glad I figured that out. And that was kind of like our test run of what an election episode could look like. So we'll definitely have a election episode for the presidential election. I already have the live broadcast thing set up as like a privated thing, so it's definitely prepped. It also has a thumbnail, so I guess I could show the thumbnail as like a little teaser. That'd be kind of cool, right? A little teaser thumbnail. Look at that. How awesome is this? The presidential election special, Forbidden FM. So I'm very glad I was able to do live episodes this year. That was one of the things that I wanted to do. I started the year off with one where I simulcasted it to Twitch. And the second and third and fourth episodes were not simulcasted. They were both streamed directly to YouTube, but that's fine. I'm devising a plan where I have it be broadcasted to Twitch before it comes out on YouTube as like a normal episode. So that's an idea I've had in the works, but overall I'm glad I was able to do live episodes this year. One experiment I did try this year was Forbidden TV, which was running rerun broadcast of the podcast. I've done it 3 or 4 times so far with varying success. The fourth time I did it, people would watch, but it's strange. Like, I might have to specify that it's a rerun of already aired episodes, because there were people in the chat trying to argue with me on politics, not realizing it's not a live broadcast and that it's old episodes of the main podcast. So I'm definitely going to have to work around it a bit more. So we'll see what I do with that. But overall, like, at least I tried it. And that's what I care about, is that I actually tried it. So we're really mowing through this list. I'm only 13 minutes or 12 minutes really into the podcast. And we're mowing through. One of the bullet points I had was that I've gotten more comfortable doing the podcast. I would agree. I have definitely gotten far more comfortable doing the podcast. Last year, I used to do episodes where it was really strange how I did it. There would be episodes where I'd have the background pulled up the entire time if I didn't want to use my webcam. And it evolved over time. Like, then eventually it became like I did back to back on this one. It became this with the nice little beach background. I took that photo a year ago. And then there was the updated one towards the end of the year where it was a looped like stream. So then it became this. And I'm proud to say that last year we did 6 of those. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6, right? 6. Okay. So we did 6 of those last year. This year we have done technically 2. There was a bonus episode where I did it. But there are 2 episodes where I did it, one of which was a choice to do the background. So it was this one. I made the active choice to do this background. The other one was not by choice. The episode with Livy uses this background. And I will say that was not by choice. We were originally going to do the whole like webcam on this side, webcam on this side. I'll show what it looks like. We were gonna do this setup, and the only reason we didn't was because her camera froze before we started. So I made the active decision to just cut that out entirely. I just decided to go with the standard, logo with the looped background, and that was what we went with. And I think it worked out fine. It also gave me the opportunity to make one of the sickest thumbnails I think I've ever made for the podcast, which looks like this. I love this thumbnail. This thumbnail's awesome, dude. We got the mental health clinic here. We got COVID here because we did talk about COVID. We've got Tim Walz because he just got announced as VP. And I talked about the history of the economic system in our country, the way that it operates nowadays. And I talked about how it ties all back to Reagan. I talked about all this stuff. We talked about all this stuff. And I've made this fire thumbnail for it. Really proud of this thumbnail. So that actually gives me the opportunity to do a great transition. And before I do, I will say, thank God I don't do the logo-only episodes as much anymore. I got really upset every time I did those. But to transition, we have... I keep saying we as if there's a team behind this. It's mostly just me. I have been going hard on the thumbnail game. Let me pull up the concept photo for the thumbnail. There was a test photo I did for the new thumbnail before the new year. When was this saved? I want to see how far... Yeah, December 16th, 2023 was when I decided I was going to do a... hold on, I'm setting up the scene. December of last year is when I decided I was going to do a new thumbnail border. So we have the faded purple in the corner, got the test logo in the bottom right. I always wanted the logo to be in the same corner. And finally, the logo has been updated enough where it has a drop shadow now instead of the dumb, layered logo. And so... now it goes in the bottom right no matter what the episode is. Before, I'd have to adjust it depending on the background image if it was too bright. Now that it has an official drop shadow, I can finally put it in the bottom right every episode. And I've also committed to the purple outline. I love the purple color. It used to be green, and I decided, you know what, I've been using the green one for so long, it's time I change it. And so that's what I did. And I really like this color. We have a different, in addition to that, we have a different type of thumbnail for the Forbidden FM episodes. I don't think I have a test one, so I'm just gonna have to pull one up. Thumbnails, pull up a Forbidden FM episode. Here, this one's perfect. This was our primary election thumbnail, where there's this light blue border that fills the whole border instead of just one of the corners. And then the streaming thumbnail border is the same color, and that's what I decided to put around our faces for the YouTube thumbnail. But here's the rule with these. With Forbidden FM, the logo always goes in the bottom left. So for Forbidden Land, it goes in the bottom right. For Forbidden FM, it goes in the bottom left. And... now we have a consistent graphics style for the thumbnails. One thing you might notice is that for the border on my webcam for the display, the thumbnail is more of a purple red combo, where there's purple on the left and red on the right. The red border is a scrapped idea. We used to have a Clips channel for the podcast, and I realized I couldn't really keep up with it the way that I wanted to, and so I retired the border, but I still use it. It looks like this. It's a red corner border in the top right. I would use it for Clips channel thumbnails, and I decided that, I'm going to retire the border, but now we use it for Patreon thumbnails. I realized this is the same color as the old Patreon logo. Why don't I just use this? So that's what I use now. I use this for the Patreon bonus episodes. And as you can see on the bottom corner of this episode, I use like a combo of the two for the main border. So that was the idea behind that. We also have the border for Pride Month. I decided I wanted a custom border for Pride Month. So I took the LGBTQ plus trans like flag. Like I took the gay pride flag that has the trans flag triangle going into it and has the Black Lives Matter border on it as well. I took that and I did this. So this is the gay pride month. This is the Pride Month border for the podcast. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do for Pride Month, and you know, we still do the normal border for like the inner stuff. Like this is the streaming border for streaming services for Forbidden Land, where it has the blue top left color. But for Pride Month, I wanted to do a fun little rainbow border, and even like for streaming, we have a custom border for Pride Month. Let's see if I can pull one up. Damn, we've done a lot of episodes since Pride Month. Here's the same episode. Here's the custom border for it. It's the Pride Month border. Different from the usual one. The usual one, like I said before, it usually looks like this. So, I've been playing around with the borders and stuff. I think I'm going to stick to them for the time being. They'll carry over into 2025. Where's the Patreon border? Don't I have the thumbnails somewhere? I do. Here's because I had a Patreon version of this episode that had music in it. So here's the Patreon border. It's just red. Pretty standard. The Forbidden FM one's same way. It's just light blue. But yeah, that's what we do for the different graphics packages. So I really do like them. They're way better than before. Do I still have the old ones? I don't know if I do. Logos. Yeah, I do. Okay. So yeah, here's the old. Ooh, this one's so bad. That's not even the old one. That's like the old one. I'll show the one that we used in 2023. The one we used in 2023 was this green top left border, and the only problem I had with it was that the colors were really like mix matched, because I wasn't really good at doing this at the time. And so it's like darker here on the left, and then it's lighter up here, and then it fades really weird. And then where is it? Oh yeah, so last year's. Where's last year's? Oh, not last year. The one that we did before the podcast revitalization in 2020 and 2019. This was the planned border for the podcast, where it had this really splotchy purple kind of color on the side. I don't know how I didn't see how bad this looked, but this was the original concept for our border on the thumbnails. So you can tell I've been wanting to do border thumbnails for a long time. And this year was the year that I finally got it down. Like, yeah, here's the old streaming service one, where it's purple in the top left and the bottom right. Yeah, I just really did not like how these looked. So, we definitely scrapped this idea after 2022. And then we launched a side podcast. So that's the other achievement. We launched a side podcast where it's the audio only version of the Minecraft modded survival series I do on stream. So every episode has an audio version on streaming services. I believe it's on Spotify and YouTube Music. It's on the Podcast Index, Deezer, I believe. I think that's it. I didn't submit it anywhere else because their TOS is a little bit more specific about like third-party material, like Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music. There, a lot of the Minecraft soundtrack will kick in during the episodes, so I just opted not to put them on those services. But the RSS feed should be available for people that want to add it to their podcasting app. But here's the border we use for that. It's just this like green color that's clearly inspired by the 2022 thumbnail border, in 2023 thumbnail border idea that we did. That's the color we kind of based it on. So that was kind of why I wanted to do that. I have this white border for some reason. It's just an asset that I keep in the assets folder. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. Whether it be for like main channel borders or not. I might not use it for the main channel. I might just use it for like very specific cases. Oh, that was exhausting to talk about. Who knew they needed to hear about me talk about fucking thumbnail ideas and whatnot? A thing that is barely thought about when people click on a podcast. So let's talk about another thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to do remote episodes where I go out to like a public space and I record a remote episode. That has not happened yet. I just haven't found the proper equipment for it yet. We did attempt to do one when I was at my mom's house, and it just didn't really work. I have the footage that I could probably pull up. The problem is that I didn't have the audio. I forgot to take the audio with me. Or no, it's not that I forgot. I think what it was is that I put it on the USB stick and it corrupted during transfer. Like, here, I'll pull up a screen grab of the episode. So this is a lost episode of the podcast that I did back in March. And here's me, like, you can see I'm holding a microphone and everything. And it just didn't work because I didn't bring back the audio with me. And it was really disjointed and noisy. I'll probably do an episode here in the future, but I think I'll do it alone. And also, like, I love the weather and all that during this day. I wish it was more possible to do this. I think it even started raining during this episode. But, like, there's just no audio. Like, it's just camera audio.
Gonna have, right?
You know, as a kid, I thought that, like, Bert was, like, fun.
Holly saying as a kid is the funniest shit ever.
Follow him. Yeah. Which is what we're hoping to have, right?
You know.
So this is me, obviously. This is my mom's boyfriend. Sitting on the couch behind him that you can't see on camera is my sister. And she's been on an episode of this podcast actually before. She was on episode 10 of the podcast. And this was her first episode back. We actually made note of this during the episode. She was a freshman in high school when we did that episode, and she's now, like, if she had started, or what am I even trying to say? She would be a sophomore in college now. It has been so long since she last came on the podcast that by this point she will have been a sophomore in college. So, but during the recording of this, she would have been a freshman in college. So it's been a long time. It's been almost 5 years at this point since she was last on the podcast in a official capacity. I believe there was like a clip cut from my stream that I made an episode of the podcast with her in it. I don't really count that. This was like set up and intended to be an episode of the podcast. So this is like a lost episode. It's the only attempt I've really made at a remote episode of the podcast. I will probably, if I ever go and grab the audio from this laptop that's sitting in the bottom right of the screen. Here, let me show. There's a laptop sitting right here, and that has the audio on it. If I ever get the audio, the podcast is kind of dated at this point. I'll release it as like a bonus episode, or I'll release it as like I'll release it on Patreon first as a bonus episode, then I'll put it on YouTube as a bonus little thing in the middle of the week. But for right now, it's a lost episode of the podcast. So I would say that goal has not really been achieved. The remote episode goal hasn't really been achieved yet, but it has been attempted. I will say that. Oh yeah, I have like my test audio. Anyways. So let's move on. Let me slow down a little bit. I want to slow down how much I'm talking. So, 3 more points to get to. One thing we did do was make merch. Shout out to my girlfriend for this one. We have Forbidden Land podcast merch, Forbidden FM merch. You know, it's just like a cutesy little design. It's nothing crazy, but it is cute. Here it is. It's a shirt with trees on it, with Forbidden Land written on it. The other one we got is this one, the Forbidden FM Crescent Moon t-shirt. And, you know, there are other variants of the merch, too. Like, there's stickers, hoodies, mugs, a phone case, a tote, like, just stuff like that, like a hat. Obviously, I'm not, like, pushing for all... Wait, there's a hat? Wait a minute, since when has there been a hat? Did I forget there was a hat? Or is that new? You know what? That might be new. Oh, I would so wear this. I didn't know there was a hat. Since when? This website didn't tell me that they introduced hats and they just auto-added it to my shop. That's awesome. Okay, well, yeah, there's hats in these colors. I really like the cream one. That one's sick. Looks kind of comfortable, too. I didn't know. What else is there? Is that the only new thing that they added without me knowing? I guess so. Oh, that's so funny. I also really want the crew neck. That's the one I've been pushing for. I really like the crew neck. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't know they had hats now. I haven't checked in a bit. But yeah, cool. So we have merch. There's 4 different designs. One for Forbidden Land, one for Forbidden FM. Go check that out. It's on the website. I'll put it in the description. And yeah. Merch! Unintentional plug. I did not know there were hats on there. So here's the big one. The big one is that at the beginning of the year, I actually don't know how many subs we had at the beginning of the year. I probably have that somewhere in here. I do. So around the beginning of the year, this channel only had about like 7 to 10 subscribers from what I remember. Not a lot, you know, decent starter amount. Not a lot of subs. We are now at 76 subscribers on the channel. And the biggest boost we got was from the most popular episode of the podcast of all time. Episode 53, A Guide to Gang Stalking. This episode got over 3,000 views. It's the first episode to hit to go over 1,000 views on the channel, and now it's at 3,200 views. This episode popped off, and even while recording it, I knew it was going to be a banger. Did not think it was going to bang off this hard. 3,000 doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people because, you know, it's not like it's 1 million views. For me, this was crazy. This was crazy to witness. I loved responding to comments. You know, it got Content ID claimed in classic Dane fashion. Yeah, I loved responding to comments. I loved reading what people said. I loved seeing the people. Homeboy in Tennessee is tweaking on meth hard. Please, I didn't know this dude commented that. That's so funny. Wow. But yeah, this person saying I've been gang stalked for years now. Just funny ass comments like that from these crazy people finding the episode. Loved this episode. And I'm so happy we had an episode breaketh over 3,000 views. So I would say this is a great achievement, and the channel had a huge boost. It boosted up to about 50 subs. And then over the course of the next few months, it's been gaining about 20 subs. Or it gained about 20 subs. So yeah, I would say this was a great success. And I'm really glad this episode popped off the way that it did. I had a lot of fun doing that one. So that kind of goes over everything that we've achieved this year. When I say we, I'm talking about all of us. You know, it's mostly just me working on this behind the scenes. So when I say we, I'm talking about all of us. And when I say we, when I'm talking about thumbnail design, I'm talking about me and people that know what they're talking about. So, stuff that I want to do in the future, I really want to do a remote episode. I'm going to continue releasing weekly on Fridays. I want to do a 3-hour episode. We almost hit 3 hours with Livy. We were 3 minutes short of hitting 3 hours, but it was so late and we had to go to bed that we couldn't hit the 3-hour mark. I really want to hit 3 hours. I've been thinking about doing another offshoot of Forbidden Land. If you didn't know, Forbidden FM is its own podcast on streaming services. And it's definitely separated on YouTube Music. I don't put Forbidden Land episodes in the Forbidden Land, or I don't put Forbidden FM episodes in the Forbidden Land podcast playlist. So on YouTube Music, they're separated. On Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Forbidden FM is included in the Forbidden Land podcast category, but then there's it's its own thing if you just want to listen to the live episodes. So I'm thinking about if I wanted to do another offshoot of the podcast. I know on YouTube Music, there's a Forbidden Bonus podcast on there. That's just for the bonus episodes to go into. It's mostly just for organization purposes. So I wouldn't consider that its own podcast. But I've been considering doing an offshoot. Maybe if there was a guest that wanted to do a duo type of episode with me, where it's like our thing. Those are our episodes. I would be up to do that. It's one of those things where Forbidden FM and Forbidden Land usually replace each other on the Friday schedule. So if there is a Forbidden FM that week, it's going to replace Forbidden Land for that Friday's episode. But so it would be the same thing with this. If me and a friend did a duo podcast together and it was like our thing, then that would be the episode that replaces the Friday episode. And it would be its own thing. So, you know, that's definitely an idea I have for the future. I want a better logo so bad. My girlfriend has criticized me so much for this logo. And I get it, you know, like I understand why she doesn't like it, it just makes me sad. Because I want a better logo so bad. But I understand why she doesn't like this one. Look at it. It's just text. It's just text. You know, let's be real. It's nothing special. I can tell you the exact font I typed it out in. But to be fair, the Avatar logo is just papyrus. So is it really that bad of a logo? I wouldn't mind having a better logo in the future. You know, something like foresty themed, maybe. Something like that. Ideas. Forbidden FM, I want more of like a radio type of theme. So the other goal I have is doing a fun fact at the end of every episode. So stay tuned for that. There is one for this episode, but I want to do that every episode. I've determined that I've learned so many random pieces of knowledge over time that I don't have an outlet to just talk about them at random. So this will be my opportunity to let one of those random facts loose. And then finally, you know, I talked about it a few months ago. The podcast will continue through 2025. I will do this for the next year and a half at least. Then at the end of 2025, obviously I will, you know, weigh whether or not I'll continue it into 2026. But I already confirmed, and I will reconfirm it here. I'll double down. The at Dane Makes Music YouTube channel, the main channel that I do, it will stop being my main focus after this year. I'll still stream every now and then. I already have a stream planned soon for me, like building a puzzle where there's this camera facing me and I'm just at my desk building a puzzle with another camera facing down towards the puzzle. So that's a future stream I have planned. I'm going to finish out the Minecraft series, and then from there it's like there'll be like random gaming streams here and there, and then Forbidden FM. That's it. After that, I'm pretty much done. So those are my goals that I'm setting for the rest of the year, and those will probably carry over into next year if some of them aren't complete. And that concludes the state of the pod. So, moving on. Let me talk about the Angry Birds jerk-off incident. Foul-ass shit, dude. So, on May 20th, the Angry Birds Twitter account tweeted out. How do I get this to where it'll only show the tweet? Because the top reply kind of spoils it. There we go. It's big enough. On May 20th, 2024, the at Angry Birds Twitter tweeted, "We sincerely apologize for an unfortunate incident that occurred on our account. Recently, an inappropriate post was accidentally reposted from the account. This was a genuine mistake, and we deeply regret any harm it may have caused." You might be wondering, what are they talking about? How weird. I wonder what they're talking about. How about I show you what they're talking about? Dude, no way. Okay, I'll get to this. Because I just saw where they hid the replies, and the hidden replies are crazy. So here we are. On May 18th, 2024, the Angry Birds Twitter account retweeted a tweet that says, "At Angry Birds, I used to jerk off to Angry Birds. When I was about 13, I loved Angry Birds. I had every game and bought every toy they had. One day, one was playing Angry Birds when all of a sudden the big red bird turned me on. I couldn't stand it. I was going crazy. I decided to pull." I don't know what the rest of the tweet thread would have said, but the Angry Birds account retweeted it. So somebody got fired for sure. Because that is the craziest shit, dude. That is so insane. So I just looked. One of the hidden replies, a lot of the hidden replies are like crypto stuff. The top hidden reply is, I touch myself to your posts. Another one, I used to jerk off to Angry Birds. It's just somebody like completely repeating the original tweet. Oh, the original tweet ended with, I decided to pull out my big, and then it just ends. Oh, that's so funny. Man, a lot of the replies are just people repeating it. Big Red's got them sultry fuck me eyes, though. Oh my god. No. Oh god, dude. Crazy. So. Anyways, that was the Angry Birds jerk-off incident. Moving on to a topic even worse than that one. So I was on Reddit. Reddit. And there's an Ask Me Reddit thread that was like, what are movies that have sex scenes that you didn't expect to have a sex scene? And I was like, oh, this would be fun. Because I know of a few movies like that that are like, you're watching it and then you go, whoa, didn't expect that. Someone said The Lion King. I was like, what? And I thought they were just kidding. I thought they were talking about the SEX like cloud thing in the sky where the stars spell out sex or something like that. It's this thing. You know, I thought that's what they were referring to. That's like an old school like creepypasta type of thing. And I look it up, and no, it's referring to when, you know, Simba, and I didn't watch Lion King growing up, so bear with me here. I did not like old Disney movies growing up. So Simba and like the girl lion, who I don't know the name of, they're, you know, rolling around, and it's seemingly implied that they just got done like having sex. So then I found this article that I didn't read that part. I find this article on B plus movie blog. I don't see the author's name, but it's probably for the better that they aren't known for this article. So, it might actually just be one person writing their blog. I found this article and I would like to read it to you, if you will allow. Can you feel the love tonight? A pictorial analysis of a sex scene that wasn't there when you were 6. Okay. So we can skip all this stuff. It's just summarizing the movies and whatnot. Let's skip down to here. So this author's talking about Simba hanging out with these two. And he says, do you think Puma even feels it when Timon sticks his dick into him? So that's your first tip off to what's going on in this article. Let's skip to the big part. So Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So the person is trying to argue that the Simba's just like getting high and hanging out with them. So the other lion's name was Nala? Got it. It was at this point in the film that, just by simply watching and not looking for any of this, I said out loud to no one in particular, wait, so Simba is a virgin? Hanging out with these two stoners. Then when Nala shows up, within minutes, they're going off to go fuck while the two stoners jealously sing about it? Because that's what happens. Nala shows up, almost kills Puma. Then Simba shows up, and the two start fighting. Then she pins him, like she did when they were kids, if you know what I mean. Ew! And suddenly he's like, whoa, I have feelings in my groinal area for the first time ever. We've all been there our first time. And then he's like, wait, don't I know you? Don't you have groinal feelings for me too? Then all these feelings get thrown into the mix, and they went from fighting to wanting to fuck. Part of me wishes they both looked down out at the audience right in this moment. Why? More like the Loin King. This exact moment for Nala is when you realize that nerdy friend from kindergarten grew up really hot. Ew! And have to reconcile both feelings at the same time. Anyway, then they're playing around and shit, like, oh my god, I can't believe it's you. Oh my god, I can't believe it's you either. I totally want you to sit on my dick right now. Oh my god, like, I know, right? And within seconds, they're all over each other. I understand this dude's reaction completely. He's all like, oh great, so now you found a woman and are totally gonna go off with her and leave us alone, right? I thought we were having a guy's night out. And Simba's like, but you don't understand. We grew up together. We're going to go and catch up on old times. And Simba's like, I totally won't abandon you. Look, she's totally cool. We're just going to go talk. And Timon's just hating her for no reason. Like she just kicked a child down a flight of stairs. They're literally just staring at each other while talking to Timon. Because he's all like, if you got something to say to him, you can say it in front of us, right, Simba? And Simba's all like, yeah, see what happened was you guys better leave us alone for a little bit. This is so crazy. I want to know who wrote this. I don't know who the author is. This article's so old, by the way. I have to say it's from 2011. So the best part about it is that after they go, he has this awkward exchange with her like, Timon and Pumbaa, you'll learn to love them. It's so fucking realistic. Like, yeah, my friends never embarrassed me until I had a chance to sleep with you. He begrudgingly goes aside with Pumbaa, and it looks like them going to wait by the bar, angrily watching their boy abandon them from afar. And as they're watching, this is going on over in the other corner of the club. He's like, what the fuck? He said he was just going to talk to her. Look at them. He's basically got his hands down her pants. Is this how you talk? And he gets so upset that he starts to cry. Clearly the power bottom in this relationship is like, it's all right, honey. Ew. Why are we doing that to these two? Let's skip ahead. I can see what's happening. What? And they don't have a clue. Who? They'll fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our trio's down to 2. Oh, and they're singing. Okay. This is my favorite part of the movie, because when you watch this thing carefully, it actually is a sex scene. And not just any sex scene, a realistic one at that. We've all left a party like this at some point. It starts with the two of them going over by a waterfall, which is already code for anyone who watches enough 30s musicals. I don't think anyone's watching 30s musicals. And then what happens is she moves on ahead and tells him to come hither. What is this? Tell me about it, stud? God, how old is this person? And he follows. Since they're both big cats, Simba is quite literally about to get some pussy. They meet up beneath the waterfall and have that moment where they almost kiss. And just as he's about to hit the jackpot, She moves away again. And it's another come hither look. Oh yeah, she's gonna feel his love tonight. So they go off together into the bedroom. Somebody end this for me, please. Which leads to this. She starts seductively lapping at the water because lions can't hold ice cream cones. Huh? She starts getting into it, using her tongue, and Simba's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of her. And then she looks at him like, I want this. And when you watch the film, it's this long. Slow down, or slow look up. That is the most I want to fuck look you have ever seen. Also, as funny as the moment directly after, when she gets this moment of panic on her face, which can be read as, oh no, is he not into this? But I think it's more her going, oh no, this dude doesn't eat pussy, does he? Because trust me, it takes a lot for a dude to suddenly not be into sex if you've gone this far. This is 100% a, did I just make a bad decision face? Because while you know Simba's a virgin, he's also 100% looks like that jackhammering jock type who will be done in 82 seconds, then leave Nala to go rub one out against a tree. Also, just to pause. For a moment, to those that are gonna bring up the obvious argument here, I don't care what the lyrics are saying. Film is a visual medium. What are these visuals telling you? Come the fuck on. Note. Haha. You're gonna tell me that's not a clear sign of, let's go fuck. That's totally the I'm ready look. She's about to have the best 82 seconds of her life. Even Nala knows it. Like, oh, you ready to do this now? Though that's also the, did you just say my ass looks as good as Puma's? What? I don't understand this. And then he goes and swings from the vine into the pond, which to me is the equivalent of him getting on the bed and sexually taking off his shirt. But even if we stick with the water thing, how many times have you seen this in a movie? The scene where one half of the couple is in the water, what always happens? The one pulls the other in too. And what happens after he pulls her in? This. Don't even need words, do you? Chicka chicka chow. And then she playfully bats him away too. She's all wet. And then we cut to them frolicking in the forest. It became a John Woo movie all of a sudden. Also, I can't even count the times I've gone and frolicked in a forest as part of foreplay. And here's where the really graphic part kicks in. They run through the forest, foreplay, and then get up to embrace each other like this. This is like Avatar. Only without those tentacle dick connections they make. And then, as they do that, you could see Simba, clearly with a plan in mind, slowly use his momentum to topple her backward onto the floor. Then he gets her into position. Missionary position. Okay, I swear to you, I'm not altering these images in any way. This is the exact... What? This is the exact order in which they appear in the film. And these exact moments happen. Watch the movie if you don't believe me. So then we see an image of them rolling down the side of a hill. A little roll in the hay, which leads to this shot.
Hello. Would you like to have a roll in the hay? It's fun. Roll, roll, roll in the hay.
How old is this person, man? This is like this is millennial posting on the timeline. The best part about it is it actually comes across like them having sex for the first time. At first it's all fun and new. Then there's this awkward moment of him putting it in. And then there's the glance up. This is the clincher for me. Once it's in and he starts going, everyone knows that glance. Look at this and tell me this is not a sex scene. She's literally putting her paw around his head to bring her closer to him. And then, as she pulls him closer to her in the most intimate of moments, one person can share with one another, or with another person, she does this. She's into that kinky shit. That's basically the Disney equivalent of choke me, daddy. Even Simba's like, did she just do that? That shit throws you off your game when you're new. And he looks down at her and she's like, bring it on. And Simba knows he's got. He's about to do whatever she wants him to do. Then he's like, game on. Then there's this quintessential movie moment, the 2-shot kiss. Then the song ends with them crying, because keep in mind, the whole thing is these two lamenting the loss of their friend Tanuki. This person's old. I have not heard that term since watching House. How messed up is that? A legit sex scene in The Lion King. Didn't remember that being there when you were 6, did you? Kind of like this. I don't understand what's being implied here. Oh, but there's just a bit more. Take a look at what happens post-coitus. Then they argue that they start arguing and stuff like that. That's the end of the article. Go read this article for yourself if you want to vomit. Maybe I'll link it in the description if I remember. But I already have the link in the thing. Yeah, the Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Pictorial analysis of a sex scene that wasn't there when you were 6. Yikes. Good lord, man. That was so painful to read. Hey, so let's move on. The final thing I had was my fun fact. So here's my quick little fun fact for you, with a little bit of stuff for you to go read to find out more. We've all had bananas, at least most of us have. Most of us have had bananas before. They don't taste like much. They're kind of bland. They're a little bit creamy, but not really. And they're very yellow and very like thin, kind of long shaped. And then you've probably had banana flavored stuff and you think to yourself, God, this stuff doesn't taste anything like bananas. If you're under the age of 40, then you probably don't know this. Or you do know it and you're just sad because you'll never be able to try this. The current day banana that we all eat is a species of banana called the Cavendish. It's a mass-produced banana by by banana companies, mostly Chiquita. And you know, you recognize them, you eat them all the time, and they taste nothing like banana flavored stuff. The banana pre-90s was called the Gros Michel, also called Big Mike. And those are the bananas that are a little bit shorter, a little bit thicker. They're a lot creamier. They have a better texture. And they do taste like banana flavored stuff. The chemical used to make banana flavored stuff is the same chemical that's found in bananas. And the Gros Michel has more of this chemical than a Cavendish banana. So the reason why those bananas aren't mass produced anymore is because the way that you grow fruit, you're supposed to stagger the species. That way, and the different types of fruit. That way, if one fruit gets sick, it doesn't spread to the other fruit like it in the same way, like in a massive way. And so, you know, a disease that might affect bananas might not affect apples, so you would kind of stagger your crops in a way that would not infect the whole lot. Well, United, now known as Chiquita, didn't really take this note because in the nature of capitalism, mass produce. I mean, they literally destroyed and toppled entire governments to be able to grow these Gros Michel bananas. Well, the bananas became infected and started dying off and have almost gone extinct. They've gone extinct on a mass producing level. People still grow them themselves, and you can find them at specific markets, but it's very rare, and they will be very expensive. But that is why the Gros Michel is no longer mass-produced and put in the supermarkets everywhere. So you can go read this article about it if you want. UFC is the name of the banana company I'm referring to. That's now, I think it's called United Fruit Company. It is now Chiquita, which Chiquita used to just be the name of their product line for bananas. And now it's the whole company. So you can go read this article about it. People say the Gros Michel is sweet, creamy, and sturdy. There you go. Go read this article about it. You can also go watch this YouTube video about it.
Did you ever
Go watch this guy's YouTube
take a
video
bite
about
of
it.
food and immediately transport backwards in time?
He's actually holding a Gros Michel banana in his hand in this video. And then I thought this was interesting that this is like an extra little bonus. This is what a modern seedless banana versus a pre-domesticated banana looks like. I found this on Reddit. Here you go. It's on Reddit. So there you go. There's your little fact. That's actually I thought that was interesting. This right here makes a lot more sense as to why a banana is called a berry. So that's the pod. Thanks for watching. I'll be back next week for more news and more topics and more talking about me and stuff. Hopefully a little bit less lion sex and Angry Bird jerk-off incidents. And yeah. Probably be talking about the DNC, if I'm being honest. DNC starts on Monday. Which, if you're watching this on the day this comes out, it started this past Monday. So I'll be talking about the DNC next episode, but if there's anything interesting. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're on every podcasting site at this point. Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your Samsung fridge, whatever the fuck you want to watch us on. Deezer if you're French. And go sub to us on Patreon if you want to support us. There's multiple tiers. So thanks for watching. Adios.